My name is Uri Zilberman. I'm a business development director at Pontis, and in my presentation we are going to talk how we're going to use big data for real-time contextual marketing. So first of all, a few words about Pontis, who we are. So Pontis was founded in 2003. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, and actually marketing are working on a big party right now, celebrating our 10th anniversary. We are the pioneers of contextual marketing in the telecoms industry. And sometimes people ask me, describe me in very short, what does Pontis actually do? And I tend to use an example I heard after I met one of the customers from marketing department, and we sat together with purchasing, and he tried to explain to purchasing what is it that Pontis does. So he quite flattered us by comparing what we do to Amazon, not comparing us, but comparing what we do in the sense that Pontis collects a very rich profile on the customer, looking into a lot of the aspects of his profile in the network, previous usage, data from network events, data from all sorts of network, and then we're able to take this data and in real time take action on subscribers' activities. And this is in a nutshell what Pontis does. In terms of the customers we work with, so we have here a list of customers here in the UK. As an example, we work with Vodafone and Telefonica. And the one interesting thing about Pontis, we were talking about this in the break, is the fact that we offer a unique managed service in the sense that Pontis offers not only technical managed service, which is the common managed service you see in the industry, but we also do the marketing on behalf of the operators. So a typical Pontis team in any of our customers covers both marketing and technical aspects. So I think in the first session you touched a bit the organizational challenge, having different people in different organizations and different silos and finding it difficult to actually get things done. So the way we work, it's one self-contained team containing marketing people, technical people, and we're able to do things in quite an agile way thanks to this setup. So I like this last marketing number of customers we manage, so it's 300 million. In my previous company, the number doubled in one night when we signed the China Unicom. So from a billion, it became sort of 2 billion. So moving on, you can't fatten a pig by weighing it. So a lot of focus is put nowadays in the industry in setting up the systems that will be able to cope with the large amounts of data. So cope means to collect the data, to process it, to analyze it, and so on. But this alone is not enough. This is just the means. What we actually want to do with all this data is make out of it what we call in Pontis actionable data. So take out of the large amounts of data the really important pieces of information and important pieces of data, and give it as a tool to the marketing people that will be able to use that in their daily CVM activities. So this slide pretty much describes the paradigm in which we believe operators should work when dealing with customer data. So first and most important thing is a customer-centric approach. So if you look today at operators, and again, it's something that was discussed in previous sessions, they're pretty much organized in silos. So silos are different product lines, different organizations, and you seldom find operators that work in a truly customer-centric approach. And let me just give you an example of a story I heard last week from one of our customers. So the product manager responsible for retention decided or found in his analysis that data is one of the big reasons for subscribers to churn. They were unhappy with the fact they were overcharged. Some of them felt they were not on the right price plan for them. So he went out with a campaign in order to improve the customer perception and looked at the actual usage versus the price plan and actually offered the customer to downgrade his price plan so he would be on the right price plan for him and would not eventually churn. So they did this campaign, and 2 weeks later, the data product manager decided he wanted to meet his annual targets and he needed to push data to the base. So he used a different system, took the same segment and tried to sell them a bigger data package. So, and this is a true example, and I think this is maybe a bit of an extreme, but if you have to categorize or look at the way that decisions are made today about subscribers, they are not as customer-centric as we would want them to be. So any big data project needs to look into how to create this customer-centric data and consolidate the data from the different sources. Operators have a lot of data. The thing is that in many cases today it's stored in different systems and there's no single view on the subscriber. In terms of the, let's say, the 3 steps that we approach any marketing activity or a marketing plan that we do on the customer base. So first part is what we call sense, which is to have a most up-to-date customer profile that contains ideally 360 degrees, but that's something which is very difficult to achieve, but at least to have enough information on the subscriber in order to take the right decisions about what is the next thing or next best action to do with this specific customer. So the data has to be real time, and if now the real time is not as important as we move forward with all the 4G deployments and the type of use cases that operators want to deploy, having real-time data is key. Because if you don't have the data in real time, so for example, a subscriber exhausted his data bundle. If you come and try to sell him, and let's say it happened on the last week of the month, if you try and sell him a new data bundle a few days afterwards, it's simply too late and not relevant, and you'll only end up annoying the customer. Multi-source, so like I said, the data sits today with operators. They have a lot of data. It's sit in different systems, and the key thing is to collect the data from multiple sources and have one single view of the customer. In terms of ACT, so the customer profile constantly receive different triggers and events coming from the network. And you need to take decision in real time, in many cases, on what is the next best action with the customer. So let's maybe take an example of a data event that occurred in the network. So for one subscriber, this is the first data event that occurred since he upgraded to a new smartphone. For another subscriber, this is just another data event out of dozens of data events he generates every day. For a third subscriber, this is actually the first time he downloads the Spotify app and he's about to listen to music. So as you can imagine, each and every of these 3 examples require different actions, and the action has to be in real time in order to be effective with your marketing activities. Adapt comes to describe the part where you can't simply build a profile, come up with a marketing plan, and have it sit there in the network or in the system and simply wait for the events to come. The market changes frequently. New apps are introduced, new price plans are introduced. So it's a matter of always adapting the strategy that you have, and in a closed loop, going through these 3 different steps. So sense, act, and adapt. So next thing I'd like to talk about is a bit more about the customer profile and what is the right way to engage with customers. And I'd use here 2 examples to emphasize the importance of managing what we call continuous engagement with the customer. So today, in many cases, operators work in campaigns. So you cut a segment of a certain part of the base, you run a campaign, you analyze the results, and sometimes you run a follow-up campaign, but normally this is where it ends. So let's just take two typical examples that are occupying the minds of the marketing people in the CVM department. One of them is churn, and the second one is how to drive data adoption and data usage. So churn, and I'll show an example of a case study. So if you, for example, look at today's subscriber usage or look at the subscriber usage over the last few days, and you see a certain level of usage. If you don't have history reference and you don't have a constant subscriber profile where you monitor the subscriber behavior over time, you will not be able to know whether this level of usage reflects normal usage or reflects a decline in usage, which should trigger some kind of alert because this subscriber is perhaps about to churn. Another example is data. So same here. I mean, marketing want to gradually push data. They want to push subscribers to adopt a smartphone. They want to push subscribers who have a smartphone to take a recurring data bundle. And they want subscribers who have a recurring data bundle to increase their usage. If you just target the base and look at what the base is doing today and do a segment and don't look at the historical usage, you're not really able to take subscriber from point A to Z. So point A is a subscriber who doesn't even have a smartphone, and point Z in the path is the point where subscriber has a smartphone, has data usage, and has healthy usage and is generating revenue. So this is where the importance of managing subscribers in a continuous way, having the subscriber data in one central location and monitor constantly the changes in subscriber behavior and subscriber trends. Another part which is especially important when you look at data is that if you look at subscribers today, because of the digital marketing and what is going on the internet and all the search engine optimization and what's happening in Amazon, subscribers are pretty much used to getting the right offer in the right time. And if in the past subscribers were a bit more tolerant to marketing campaigns or marketing initiatives by the operator that were not very targeted to what they needed, nowadays, thanks to thanks, I don't know if thanks is the word we want to use, but operators are demanding more and expecting more. And they want you to come with the right offer at the right time in the right context. And in order to do that, it is really key to have a very rich subscriber profile and be able to come with the right action or right offer to the customer at any given time. Let's now go to a quick example of how a typical use case would look like. And we're talking here about a subscriber that is at the start of his build cycle. He has a data allowance of 1 gigabyte. And this subscriber starts the month and starts to use his data. At a certain point of time in the month, subscriber reached his allowance, and now the speed is starting, the operator is starting to throttle the data. Some operators disconnect the session, some offer a follow-up or try to sell an add-on bundle, some simply throttle and notify the subscriber. So at this point of time, subscriber, based on a real-time trigger, identifying that there is still a few days to go until the end of the cycle. So the subscriber is approached and being offered a bridge bundle. So a bundle of a small allowance that will carry him until the end of the bill cycle. That's in order to avoid bill shock, because unless he buys this bundle, he will A, be throttled, and B, he will end up paying out of bundle. So on one hand, out of bundle is something which operators want because it creates additional revenue, but on the other hand, it is the kind of things that would trigger subscribers to churn. So this specific subscriber did not take our offer. So the question is whether we now just leave him, or maybe we try once more in a different context to approach him. So the next, let's say, possible context would be subscriber. So when he uses the phone for emails, he doesn't feel the fact he's throttled. But when he uses video, that's where he will immediately feel he's been throttled. So notice a subscriber that is using data, and you see that the data usage is actually video streaming. So this would be a perfect opportunity to approach subscriber and try to sell him that bridge bundle again, because this will improve his user experience. So he's now trying to watch a video. User experience is not that good. He's noticing that. So that's the right time to approach him and try to sell that bridge bundle again. The interesting thing about this is, although you're trying to sell to the customer, his perception is that you're actually helping him, because he's using video. He's not having a very good experience. You're identifying that, and here you're coming and offer him a way to improve his user experience and get the right bandwidth and the right user experience. So again, an example of how you use the information on the subscriber, the fact you know his allowance, you know his bill cycle, and receiving different real-time triggers and being able to take action in real time. A little bit of results that from different customers of ours that show the impact of working in this way, which is contextual marketing and working in a continuous way. So the first example is an operator where, and that I think is a very interesting number, because this operator, we're engaged in trying to increase the ARPU of the customer base. So you would expect that when approaching customers and trying to sell to them and encourage them to spend more, there will be some kind of trade-off on their satisfaction from the network or satisfaction from the services. And what we saw actually is that the contrary happened. So subscribers got personal offers and got the feeling that the operator understands them and comes with the right offer in the right time, which drove the NPS result significantly. Another example is retention. So in this specific case, we added a layer of contextual triggers on top of the existing churn propensity models. And these triggers, and I know there are some cases where there would be data privacy issues, which we heard about in the first session, but the type of triggers were calls to customer care of competition, browsing pattern, and so on. And thanks to adding these contextual triggers and providing them to the operator in a timely manner, which allowed him to contact these subscribers with retention offers, you see the impact of these activities on the retention. Last, and that will be the last slide and last example, is one of our customers approached us and asked us to help him demonstrate or show to his management what is the difference between campaign management and real-time contextual marketing. So what we did, and this is a prepaid example, is he had quite a big proportion of subscribers who asked to opt out from marketing services. So we tried two different campaigns to prove the point. One campaign was just to send a message without any contextual trigger, telling the subscriber that, or encouraging the subscriber to opt into marketing because there will be a great benefit for him in doing that. The other campaign we did is we waited until the subscriber did a top-up and sent him a message at that point of time. Did you know you could save a lot of money on your top-up? All you need to do is opt into marketing and receive our wonderful offers. And as you can see, the response rate of the contextual example was simply double than the non-contextual example. That ends my presentation. Thank you very much.